Wizards Postgame Live.
Wednesday night hoop actions in Capital One Arena as the Wizards count down the days before the All-Star break. And this Wizards team was in the mood for victory tonight. All hands on deck, especially from the big man inside. But none more excited than us as viewers to see Washington get the dub. Jason Smith and Wes all here on Postgame Live. Chris, Christy, and Megan will be joining us momentarily. Jason, the door is open to you. First of all, you are our good luck charm, sir.
First of all, I told you they were going to get back on track at home against the Hornets. They're a struggling team in the Eastern Conference, but I think overall, this was a back-and-forth game in that first half.
Yeah.
Third quarter comes around, Porzingis saw something at halftime and said, you know what, I'm going to get a lot of three-point opportunities, and that he did. He got his opportunities, and he made the most of them. 36 points tonight, almost had a double-double, 1 rebound shy with 9 rebounds, but overall, he took over in that third quarter. The Wizards put them away then and there. That fourth quarter, they just kind of coasted to victory.
I was so happy to see the third quarter that we were asking for out of Porzingis. 18 points alone in the third quarter. We talk about leadership. We were talking about this during pregame. And we were like, what is it going to be like with Brad coming back? We didn't exactly know what his load management was going to be. But tonight, Porzingis let you know, inside, outside, doesn't matter. If he's on the court, he's letting it fly.
He saw something in the video at halftime. Either the coaches said something to him, but the defender was sitting off of him, giving him the opportunity to just go out there. And especially in the double drag action with Daniel Gafford. Gafford's the roll man. Porzingis pops. He's going to have a smaller guard defender, just like you saw right there, and he's knocking it down. He doesn't have any view obstruction. He's knocking it down with confidence. Doesn't matter if you have a contest, because as soon as he gets that one opportunity to fall, then the second one goes, and then it is just a snowball effect.
Rolling. See, Snowball, kid from Colorado. I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew you were going to do it. Well, you know what? I want to ask Wizards fans who they found to be the most impressive on the court tonight. You got 3 options. Is it Denny, is it Brad, or is it KP? Right now, NBCSportsWashington.com/vote, or use your phone, hit that QR code, like right there, and there you go. Sticks, before I even bring them in, what's your answer? Who do you think is the most impressive?
I actually liked Porzingis' performance tonight because he had 36 points, but I got to give credit. Turbo went out there and got the job done on the defensive end. He was getting out in transition.
Yes.
He was making his layups.
Yeah.
Had a nice little double-double tonight.
The 8th of the season. Bold prediction later on. Let's bring in Chris and Christy and see how much fun they're having tonight after a big win. Guys, a great call. Energetic as always. I've been working on my attitudinal fortitude over here for the end of postgame. Christy, by all means, your thoughts on the game tonight.
I love it. Attitudinal is the word of the day, right? I think it was from the beginning of this game, the approach on the defensive end, the will matched the skill. And it was there all game long. They were able to sustain it for 48 minutes. That's what we've been waiting to see. But I think it started on the defensive end, and then that gave energy for the offense to click on all cylinders. I mean, look at the assist numbers for Washington. They were phenomenal with 29 assists on 44 made shots. So that happens because of what you're doing on the defensive side. Don't get it twisted. You have to make the shots. I get that. But it starts with the energy that you give on the defensive side, and Washington came with that fire and passion and outscored Charlotte 27-15 in that third quarter. And Kristaps Porzingis, he was the ringleader during that stanza.
I mean, KP outscored the Hornets by himself in the third quarter. It was 18-15 Porzingis, which really tells you how he kind of really turned up there in that third quarter. And Washington needed that. You know, they have the type of players where they can take games over like that. You know, Beal can do it, KP. But I want to give Denny Avdia his flowers. I mean, to go for 20 and 13 on a night where, you know, he didn't have to go against one of the elite wing players in the league, but still, he did a really good job tonight. And Beal and DeLon Wright each having 10 assists. That might actually get lost in the sauce, guys. When your starting backcourt both get 10 dimes, you're doing something right tonight. And I thought the three-point shooting was really the difference. Washington had just 6 against the Cavaliers on Monday. They had 15 and shot 41% tonight from distance.
Guys, well, Chris, you just talked about Denny Avdia. So right now what I'm going to do is thank you and Christy for a great call tonight and let you go until Saturday. We're taking on another matchup here in D.C. That's against the Pacers. Right now, I want to go down to Megan McPeak, who's hanging out with Turbo.
Thanks, Wes. Denny, following the game, I asked KP about your relationship, and I know I've talked to you about it one-on-one, and I've talked to KP about it, but For fans that don't really know the relationship the two of you have had this season, just talk about what he's meant to you, especially with his veteran leadership and his mentorship he's given you.
First of all, to start it off, like, he's a great dude. You know, every situation that I struggled this year, he's been there for me. He sits next to me in the locker. He sits next to me in the bus, you know, so we're just like talking about stuff or situations we struggle, and you know, I got some stuff to say, even though I'm younger than him. You know, he asked me for advice sometimes too, and we came from a similar background, so you know, we just know each other. We know what we've been through and like how to overcome obstacles, and I feel like we have a really good chemistry on and off the court.
Since the trade, when I spoke with Tommy about the trade, he mentioned, and he has continued to say, that that trade, one of the reasons they made it was to get you more minutes, to get you more playing time, to be able to watch you grow and flourish as a player. And instantly when that trade happened, you began just to flourish both on and off the floor and on both ends of the floor, because you've been known as a defender, but your offense has come along little by little. What is it since that trade has happened? And I know it's tough because Rui was a friend and a teammate, to see him go, and now you've been able to take advantage of the minutes that are available.
So first of all, I just stayed humble, no matter what was my situation. Even if I played 10 minutes in the beginning of the season and I struggled offensively, I always put in the work. I always was positive. I always cheered up my teammates, and I knew eventually, like, my time, you know, will come. And I still feel like I have a lot of things to improve until I become a complete player. And I started off defensively, you know. I started at something that it doesn't have to be like great amount of talent, and I don't need to have the ball to play good defense and rebound and help my team in different ways. So that was my bread and butter, and I was just keeping building from there, and it just connected. I was just being more aggressive. You know, Turbo was born, and you know, just playing more confident. And I feel like even now, like, when I see my games and film, like, I can do so many things better, and I'm excited to improve it. And like, my teammates are a great source of why I'm, you know, keeping performing. And about Rui leaving, you know, everybody got his own path, and I feel like if Rui had to leave and he felt like he needed a new opportunity, and I'm happy for him. I want him to succeed, and hopefully he will.
When you look at this team, obviously coming into this one, 3-game losing streak, and KP after the last game said that we got hit in the mouth first. Mm-hmm. And you guys come out tonight and you punch first, and you, KP, really just had it going offensively. But just talk about the mindset as a team that you guys had coming into this one to be able to get the job done tonight.
I mean, those are ups and downs in the season. I think we had that great winning streak that got us going, and our team chemistry boosted a little bit. And, you know, we lost those 2 games that we led by 20. And, I mean, that was a bummer, but we learned from that. And then the Cavs they punched out first. So they're a great team, and we weren't ready. You know, we have some bodies down too. So we're just staying positive, you know. It's like we got like so many games in the season, just being focused, getting ready to the game, and playing together. This is what it's all about.
Jason has a question from you in studio.
Yep.
Okay.
Jason.
Denny, stay with me now.
Yeah.
You've had a great progression. You had a great game tonight. I don't even want to talk about that. I want to know one thing.
Yeah.
Where did Turbo come from? Where did that nickname come from? Just tell me.
They didn't, like, I told the guys that I'm the fastest in the team, and they all laughed. They didn't.
I love it. I love it. You got that confidence. You're getting out in transition. You're making layups. I love the nickname Turbo because you embrace it. You go out there with energy every single night. Keep it up, brother. I love to see what you're doing out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I love it. Everybody getting involved. Shout out to Turbo doing his thing tonight. Denny, thank you so much, as always, as well. Megan, thank you very much. Jason, you talk about him. He said he's the fastest one on the team.
Hey, I give it to him because he's getting out in transition. He's booking it. He was at 3 points. Turbo
my
is
favorite
in town.
thing, Denny, my favorite thing is the fact that you're dunking on people. So shout out to Denny and Megan. But right now, let's get the head coach, Wes Unseld Jr. at the post-game podium.
It was big, you know, it was tight at half. You know, defensively, I thought got enough stops in that third quarter, it gives an opportunity to get out. And, once he hits a couple, he becomes, extremely dangerous. Shooting into a big basket, a lot of looks in step-up pick and rolls, and then he hit a couple of trail threes. So, that helped open the floodgates a bit and kind of give us some separation.
I know he accounted for a lot of the threes, but just generally what was working from the perimeter for you guys?
Well, and I thought, our ball movement, they bottled us up a little bit on the sideline. They were trying to blitz the ball, gave us some problems. But in general, I thought we had decent possessions, even two that, we ran the clock down and they were shot clock violations, but the intent was good. We're trying to move the ball. 29 assists is a solid effort. Helps your efficiency. So, you make enough threes tonight and kind of opened up the floor for us. But the ball movement I thought was great.
Wes, why did you leave most of your guys in until the end?
We've been in situations where, especially against this team, it's, you think you have a 16, 14-point lead, and less than 30 seconds, it can evaporate. And it's just more of a gut feel that, they're going to press, they're going to trap, and didn't want to take any chances. So, I thought it was just prudent to make sure we came away with it.
How did you think Brad looked tonight?
I thought he looked okay. He was good. I mean, honestly, defensively, I thought he was excellent. He made huge plays that kind of stemmed the tide in our favor. He was a low man in a pick and roll situation. Plumlee got the catch, but he made a terrific, strip around the basket. Obviously later in the fourth got the charge. So those type plays they're back-breaking, for the offense.
Was this circumstances required you to change your lineup with the injuries to Monte and Kuz? And you wound up using arguably your most defensive-oriented starting lineup this season. How did you feel like that group played to begin the game?
I think the first probably 5.5, 6 minutes, the biggest thing was the transition. And, obviously, the first half, I think, we calculate transition points a little different than what shows up in the box. But, there was 18 transition points in that first half. So we did a much better job in that second half. But I think 8 in that first probably 6 minutes. So, once we kind of tightened that area up, I thought it got better. The one-on-one containment was better. The rim protection was solid. Did a decent job on the glass. That's a really good offensive rebounding team. I think they 12 for the game. But, I think that defensive unit was solid.
Denny obviously had a great game. How do you think he's developing in terms of his feel for the game and just understanding, where to be in this offense?
I think there's growth, obviously. I mean, he's better in those areas than he was a year ago, and he'll continue to get better. Obviously, we're going to use him as a playmaker. Has the ability to push in the open floor, and those decisions they got to be quick. I think he's done a better job of processing, where the defenders are, of not pre-programming where he's going to make those plays. And I think, we've talked about his finishing improving, which is an added bonus. So now as he gets downhill, his level of aggression is to finish. And now, I think that slows everything down for him. You get to the rim, get feet in the paint. Now you can read the kickouts, the drop-off passes. All that's available. Instead of just blindly coming off and just making the auto passes, usually gets you in trouble.
Head coach Wes Unseld Jr. at the post-game podium after being mic'd up all day today, so I'm glad he's still willing to talk to us here in the media. Megan, when we think about the productivity of this team, you got two guys with 10 or more assists. Last time that happened was back in February of 2021 when Beal and Russ did it. Now Beal and DeLon do it tonight. But your assessment, and more importantly, what's the #1 lesson learned from the Wizards tonight moving forward, especially knowing what's looming around the corner?
I think it's mental fortitude. You coming off of that 6-game winning streak, and then you hit 3-game losing streak. And it was let's be real, we all saw what happened. Not the prettiest of a way to lose, especially those first 2 games against Brooklyn and Portland. And then obviously a frustrating, tough loss against Cleveland coming into your own house to start, this homestand. And then you look at what KP said after the game, because we heard the sound from him, Wes, and he said that they punched us first. The way that they came out tonight, it seemed like there was a different aura about this team, whether Brad was going to go or not, because as we know, he was a game time decision. So that kind of leads up until, 15 minutes before the game time to make that decision. I think it was the mental fortitude with which they bounced back. You deal with 3 tough losses, 3 ugly losses, and you have a team coming in that's riddled with, frustration themselves with the Charlotte Hornets, and you take advantage of the fact that, yes, they get LaMelo back, and you haven't seen him, but you take advantage of the fact that they don't have that chemistry that they should had he not been injured as much as he has been. And you punch first, and you don't just throw, a jab or a right hook. You throw an automatic haymaker. And you let them know, like, if you're going to beat us, we're not going to go down without a fight. And you're going to have to gut this out and grind it out with us. And I thought that they had the mental fortitude to do that tonight.
That's what it's all about, staying in the fight, as they say. And I'm glad that they did it because we needed this win. Like we said, tonight's the last game for the Wizards before the trade deadline tomorrow. And then this is now 4 games after this one before the All-Star break. So everything of value tonight. But coming up on the other side, you remember, this is Black History Month, and we have a very special feature on the other side of PostGame Live back in 90 seconds. Great tonight. Eric January, he is a senior at Howard University, majoring in painting. Now, an NBA feature about not only the art and the artists that contribute during Black History Month, but he was actually selected to be one of the contributors for the NBA All-Star as well. Megan McPeak had a chance to catch up with him earlier tonight.
Okay, so Eric, you are one of 7 artists that have been selected for NBA All-Star Weekend, and you are here on the concourse. It is HBCU night. You are soon to be a Howard graduate. Yes, ma'am. You are painting Kyle Kuzma in action versus the New York Knicks. Just from an artist's mindset, just talk to me about your process and how you got to this point with regards to painting and going of that nature.
So when I first started looking for just things to paint in terms of the diagonals and the subject matter I really wanted to talk about, I was looking for different images that kind of spoke to me about it. And when I looked at this image of Kuz and the diagonals and everything, it just felt like a Renaissance work. So that's all I really wanted to turn it into. In terms of like my process, it's very like abstract but real at the same time. I try to bridge the gaps in between both of them because that's how life is. It's not just one or the other. So I try to put that into my work, and you see it in the game of basketball as well.
Now, you yourself, for people who might not know you, you are actually an athlete. You're a former basketball player. I'm not even going to say former. You are a basketball player turned painter, or are you painter turned basketball player?
It was a little bit of both. I was fortunate enough to have something else besides basketball. Not everybody has that, and I'm just grateful to be able to show my work on a big platform like this. So pouring the same mindset that I had in athletics and putting it into the paintings is something that really helped me a lot.
Now, when you found out that you were one of 7 selected for NBA All-Star in Utah, that's an awesome achievement. Yeah. And I imagine not just yourself, your family, your friends, as well too your professors and your fellow students in your program were very excited for you. Yes. What was that moment like, and what are you looking forward to the most about that experience?
I'm just really excited to go out there and see everything. I mean, seeing stuff is how I learn. So when I see these different things and being able to experience these different things, I'm able to bring it back into my work, and that's what I'm most excited for. And being able to experience all these different things, being young, who can say that they're going to NBA All-Star Weekend, stuff like that at this age. So I'm just excited to, be able to do that.
That is awesome. He's going to NBA All-Star, and he's using basketball-related painting. Can you draw? Can you paint?
No.
At least
I'm not even going to say that I can. I'm not. Nope. No.
That would make 2 of us. My brother is the artist. I am trash at it, but I would definitely want to give a shout out to Howard University. HU! At home, They already filled that in. They already know what's going on. But let's get back to the basketball side of it. Just thinking about tonight, because he said something about being able to see it. And he talked about the differences and nuance in Kuz's game. Now, mind you, Kuz didn't play tonight, but the game of basketball does show you different things as the season goes on. What have you seen that has turned into what would be pretty much a work of art so far for the Wizards this year?
Overall, the season has had its ups and downs and lefts and rights, but I think overall, the Wizards have shown that they go out there and they get the job on any given night. It doesn't matter who it is, but they've got Porzingis, they've got Kuz, they've got Brad. When one goes out, the others elevate their performance. And tonight, it was Porzingis. 36 points, 8 for 14 from three-point land. I mean, he got the job done. In that third quarter alone, he outscored the Hornets by himself. He had 18 points in that third quarter. The Hornets had 15. So the game was going back and forth in that first half. You got a little nervous because the Hornets have had the Wizards' number as of late, but that third quarter, put that out of realm. No chance were they coming back from that. This is a Hornets team that's going through a little bit of disarray. They're not a very good team. They're kind of hanging around at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and I think the Wizards took care of the job, got back on track at home, and got the win. That's exactly what they needed to do. Bradley Beal goes out there, gets a double-double, but turbo. He showed up and showed out. He got a great performance tonight, getting out in transition. He did everything that the Wizards needed to get a dub.
Megan, to Stix's point, I'm looking at the tandem or slash the dynamic duo of Beal and Porzingis. 17 for Brad, 36 for KP. Obviously, Brad had the 10 assists, even doing the job on the rebounding as well. It seems to be a bit of a work of art in the dance between these two because basketball is a rather fluid game, is it not, Megan?
Without question. And, you know, you look at what they were able to do playing off of each other. And, you know, a stat that doesn't show there is the fact that the team as a whole had 12 block shots. KP had 2, Brad had 3. So of the 12, the two of them had 5 combined block shots in this ball game. And I think when you look at it, some might say, well, how come Brad didn't go for, you know, 20 or more, or 30 or more? It's Bradley Beal. That's what he does. At the end of the day, when a guy is hot like that in KP, you also throw in Denny. He realizes that he can have an impact in other ways. He's going to score the basketball. He is a professional basketball player, and he's one of the best scorers that we've seen in the game. So he can have an impact in other areas. Tonight, it was his assist and facilitating as well as his rebounding and his defense. So I think when you look at that tandem and what the two of them in Beal and KP were able to do and play off of each other, that's what you want from your best players on the ball club, is you want them to play off of each other. When one guy's got the hot hand and it's his night, the other one can play off of him. And then, you know, they can go and interchange it. And that's what you want if you're a coach. You don't complain when you've got a situation like that.
No, you let the art come to you. That is why the tandem is a bit of work of art there. Making dope move. Jason, you can sit here.
That was very artistic right there, Wes.
Thank you. I try hard. No, but coming up on the other side, you know what I'm really looking forward to? What's about to happen. Head coach Wes Unseld Jr. mic'd up all night long. It's going down. Welcome back to PostGame Live. Well, let's take a look at our bold predictions from earlier tonight, brought to you by Greenberg and Betterman, okay? We said Denny Avdia was going to record his 8th double-double of the season, and lo and behold, correct delivered. We got it right. I feel so good. Now, but here, that's not the only thing we got to focus on. Wes Unseld Jr. mic'd up tonight on court. Well, here was his thoughts before the game about being mic'd up.
I'm a church mouse. Just really quiet, really... yeah, it depends on the moment. You know, honestly, you don't even think about it. They throw the mic on and you just coach a game. You know, I think everyone's a little leery sometimes when they see that you're mic'd up. Maybe a little, show a little bit more restraint, but I don't think I get out of character, so I can't imagine anything crazy.
Yeah, mic'd up. I wonder what that life is like to walk around with the microphone on you all day. Well, here's our chance to see head coach Wes Unseld Jr., the better Wes, mic'd up all night.
Good to see you. Doing all right? How are you, sir? Wes Unseld. Good to see you.
He's mic'd up, everybody. No technicals tonight.
Yeah. Go get KP. You're rolling and pin. Bring Brad behind the ball. Come on, White. Let's go. Good. Keep running, Gaff. Keep running, Gaff. There you go. Good play, Gaff. Way to run, D. Hey. 2 out. 2 out. 2 out. 2 out. Derek, how are you? Good, can't complain, man. Come in! Come in! There you go. Come on. Come on, D-Right. Get up the floor. Get up the floor. Gotta go. Gotta go. There you go. Stay with it. Stay home. Watch cutters. Cutters. Way to go get it, B. Run. We gotta read the location on that. Hey, make sure you talk. Hey, come on, Giff. We got a bingo. Woo, coming back, woo. Gaff, you good? Angle. Make the read. Come on, White, come on. We gotta get back in transition. Let's go. Wide. How many minutes does DeLon have right now?
7.5.
Okay. Hey, Will, any clear corner, step up or not, they're blitzing. You got to make sure, stay off the sideline. Taj, right away. Come on, Taj. Come on, let's go. Gotta go. There you go. I kind of like what Taj is doing for us. Good box. Good play. Come on, Denny. There you go. Way to be there, B. You all right? Okay, Pete. What's up, Terry? How are you? Oh, away. Good job, KP. Good screen, Gav. Good job, Denny. You got D right off the pin. You got AG pulling behind. You got it? Come on, let's go, White. Let's go. Come on. Get Brad. KP, watch it. Goody. Time out. Match. Load. Stay up. Come on, get up the floor. There you go. Get a good one, Denny. Let it stay on it. Hey, Denny, they're gonna blitz every cleared corner. Easy.
Head coach Wes Unseld Jr. mic'd up. I like that. Shout out to coach for letting us do that.
Church mouse?
Right, I'm like,
no. That was not a church mouse whatsoever.
No.
He was talking, he was clapping, he was encouraging. Yeah, I'm going to call something else.
Yeah. No. Megan?
I just need to know what bingo is. I got to ask him at practice.
Yeah, you got to find out the code on that one.
I got to figure out what that is. I'm not going to tell everybody if it's X's and O's.
I want him mic'd up for like normal people's activities. So like somebody driving to work, let's go. Like, I want to hear
I'll mic him up for when I do my makeup on the road.
Let's do it. Let's take a look at our FanDuel best bets of the night. Bradley Beal having 6 or more assists tonight. Woo! Plus 375. A $10 bet win you $37.50. And the Unicorn with 3 or more threes. I think he handled his business tonight. Plus 455. $10 bet would win you $45.50. To that point, looking at KP and Bill together, Sticks. They got a thing going tonight. Again, the absence of Kuz. These two were still able to get the job done.
You know, Brad noticed that he didn't have to go out there and score every time. He was assisting. He was getting everybody involved. But also, Porzingis, a little bit of a slow first half, but that third quarter, boom, he went out there and he made his presence known. He was getting out there. He saw something in halftime. I don't know if a coach told him or if he just recognized the defense was going under on the double drag action. But when Gafford is diving to the basket, he attracts so much attention that Porzingis is just sitting out there. And if he does a good screen on that secondary screen, he's going to have a smaller defender and a point guard trying to contest him. And by the way, the man's 7'3", so that ain't going to work.
Not at all. Megan, he's 7'3". Most people say you stay down in the paint with your back to the basket. No. This dude knocked down 8 threes tonight. 8. And that's not the first time he's done it in his career.
Like, this is the thing. Sticks knows. When you're 7'3", especially when you think of the way the European game is played, it is not played like the prototypical American game of basketball or North American game of basketball. They teach their guys, 1, how to put the ball on the floor, and 2, how to shoot that thing. It does not matter how small or tall you are. When you play overseas, especially when you're born overseas, you learn how to play every position. And Kristaps Porzingis and even Denny has proven that they can play a little bit inside, back to the basket, because Denny's posted some guys up. But, oh, guess what? I can put the ball on the floor and take you off the dribble. Oh, and I'm 7'3", so when I even go to just raise at my apex, it's already a foot, if not more, above most guys trying to contest him. So it's not surprising that he has the ability to do this. It's just, I think some people are realizing he has the ability to do it at such an efficient level.
I love that you say that, Megan, because the overseas game has really changed everything because, like you said, it is positionless basketball. They learn from a very young age. It doesn't matter how tall you are. I remember seeing a lot of young footage of Kristaps Porzingis. He was shooting threes back when he was 15, 16 years old, and it's not necessarily, oh, he's 7'3", needs to be under the basket. No. If you have the potential and the skill to do it, coach is going to put you in the right places because, 1, who's blocking a 7'3" man from the perimeter? Very few. We saw that with Dirk Nowitzki. High release, Dirk Nowitzki, 7 foot. I was like, oh, there's no chance. I'll get to the league, and Dirk, he's not going to get a single shot off of me. Yeah, I was wrong, and I will admit that I was wrong because Porzingis, he does the same thing. I'm okay with saying that I'm wrong, but Porzingis, that's why we call him the unicorn. He knows how to score on 3 different levels. He can score from 3, the mid-range, the post. Does not matter, but do not put that man strictly in the post.
And he scores in the hearts of his teammates because not only does he get activated, he brings other people to the party, including Turbo. So shout out to KP, Brad, and Turbo, and everybody else on the court tonight because you all did your job. Check this out, though. New customers, FanDuel. You can get a no-sweat first bet up to $3,000. You can download the FanDuel app right now and start making every moment more. But coming up on the other side, Jason's here. We're getting into the film room. Wizards PostGame Live. Back in a moment. Welcome back to Wizards PostGame Live. Wiz fans, you know what's up. The day after the Wizards score 115 or more points, you can get 50% off regular menu price pizzas at papajohns.com using the code WIZ50. That'll put a smile on your face. But you know what'll put a smile on my face right now? Film room.
Let's hop into film room. Let's talk about this man, Turbo. Denny Avdia getting out in transition. This is where he is at his best. He uses that speed, which I found out the definition of why they call him Turbo, because he is the fastest man on the floor. Going out in transition, that is where he thrives. And the fact that he is finishing at the basket makes it even that much more effective. But also in the offensive trends of things, he realizes Brad is probing the lane. He realizes that all the defenders have their backs turned to him. What does he do? Cuts straight down the middle of the lane, exactly where he's supposed to be. Okay, now flip it to another pick and roll situation with Porzingis. He does a great job, and as he's progressing throughout his career, he's realizing where to choose his battles. He doesn't need to cut on this possession because Porzingis rolls. So what do? You space out, you get balance, and you're finishing towards the rim. What he's done a great job of, as of recent, is going out there and finishing towards rim, not fading away left or right or fading away from the basket, but finishing with confidence, holding his follow-through, and he did it on multiple occasions tonight. And also, Kristaps Porzingis is having a positive effect on this young man. Yeah. He's taking him under his wing, and he's going out there and making sure that he is feeling comfortable out there. He's encouraging Denny because Denny has that potential. And now that you see that Rui has exited from the picture, Denny has flourished. And now we can see the real Denny stand up.
No, on the season, Denny averages 10 points and 6 boards, but over the last 5, he's averaging 16 points, 7 boards, shooting 47% from the field and 46% from deep. At this point, a song in my head is, all I really want is to be happy. That's what I hear in my head, Megan, when I see the productivity of Denny as of recent.
Yeah, and to Stix's point, as Denny said to all of us when we had him on a little earlier tonight, it's interesting to see the fact that KP is also asking him for advice on certain things. Like it's the mentor-mentee relationship that goes both ways, and that's when you have a true friendship and relationship that you're building off of. But I just think for me, it's the confidence with which Denny is playing with right now, and he said it himself. He's been saying it when I had him one-on-one once that trade first happened, and he said, you know, I realize and I understand that my growth is not going to happen instantaneously and overnight. It's going to take time, and I have to just understand that and accept it. And that is when I've noticed the biggest flourish in his game.
I love that he is taking this in stride as he should, going up in the numbers. 118 to 104 was the final score. Kristaps Porzingis with 36 points and 9 boards, and Turbo, as we've said multiple times tonight, 20 points, 13 boards. That is his 8th double-double on the season, but his bestie is at the post-game podium right now, and that would be Kristaps Porzingis.
I told myself, I knew it. Like, I even looked at my people in the bleachers. I said, and Zach also, the assistant coach. I was like, it's coming. I hit the last 3 before the half, and I had the feeling that I was going to get it going in the second half. And they're the type of team that play a little bit like chaotic, but they give up some threes and they give up some. So I had decent looks in the first half. I knew second half they're going to be there, and that's it. I just had that mindset that I'm making those, and that's it, and it worked out.
What do you think about the way Denny played tonight?
Great. He had a great game. All around, 13 rebounds. Yeah, shot the ball well from 3. I told him before the game we were standing during the anthem, and I was like, "I need Turbo tonight." He said, "I got you." And and he played really well, so happy for him.
KP 8 threes tonight, looking like KP Curry out there. What was working so well for you?
Say that again, sorry?
I said with 8 threes, you were looking like KP Curry tonight. What was working so well for you out there?
Yeah, don't know. Just shot the ball. Like, my shots been feeling pretty good. I had a talk with like the coaches before the game, and I think like a lot of it is in the mind, you know, and I just knew, I don't know, I just knew that I was gonna shoot the ball well. Even after the first half, I said, second half is going down, and I don't know, yeah, you have to have that mindset, I think, and if I get those good looks, like these guys are finding me, like they're doubling Brad, so everybody else has to be able to make the next play or shoot the ball, and these guys found me, D. Wright, Brad, and yeah, I think great game. I'm happy to make those shots and have that like really good third quarter.
Defensive side.
I mean, it was our scheme. It was just kind of putting us in the right positions at the right time, and you know, we're just making those extra effort plays to, you know, stay in the play, stay engaged, and you know, keep them from scoring. You know, we do a good job. We have 2 twin towers in there that are almost impossible to kind of score on sometimes, and us as guards, we have sometimes we're called to crack down on their man on rebounds and get in the mix a lot more and help them out on the boards and blocking shots. So it's good that we have that type of activity. We're active with our hands and being engaged on that end.
Bradleyville in the post-game locker room, getting ready for the Pacers on Saturday. Megan, real quick, what do the Wizards need to do to get another dub?
As you just heard from Brad, those Twin Towers, they got a guy called Miles Turner coming in here. You got to put a body on him, make contact often and early, keep him out of the paint on both ends of the floor.
Dr. Smith, same question to you.
Halliburton, watch out for that man. I'm not going to say any recklessness. That man is an all-star. He deserves it. You got to put some respect on his name.
If you know, you know.
Right. If you know, you know.
I'm not saying nothing bad about nobody, but I will say this. I'm excited about tonight's win.
Yes.
We needed it. They needed it. Now, after tomorrow, after Friday, everybody will calm down, and then we're going to hit the road mentally to play some more games.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we got a West Coast trip that includes Golden State. We'll see Portland. We'll see
Who
Minnesota
made a trade
as well.
tonight.
Right, they made a trade tonight, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So NBA fans, Wizards fans, you already know. Everything you need to know is at NBCSportsWashington.com, and we'll have that for you. On behalf of Jason Smith, on behalf of Megan McPhee, I'm Wes Hall. It's been fun hanging out with you with a dub tonight. We'll see you Saturday night, 6:30. Wizards pre-game live for Wizards Pacers. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Make sure you let us know who you think is going to make the first basket. We'll tweet that out as well. On behalf of our great crew and staff here at NBC Sports Washington, we'll have a great night. You do the same. We'll see you Saturday.